Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, guys. So today I'm gonna tell you the tafseer of Surah Baqarah. So guys, I think this surah, my videos will have many parts because it's a very long surah. So if you want to know what book I'm reading from the Clear Quran Tafsir for Kids. It makes people understand the Quran better. So I'm first gonna tell you the learning points. The learning points are first of all, this is the longest surah in the Quran because it has 286 ayahs, verses, and this surah has the greatest verse, which is verse 255, and the longest verse, which is verse 282, and probably the last verse revealed of the Quran, 281. Now, I want to tell you guys something. In Surah Baqarah, the last two verses are very special because they are known as something called the Amana Rasul. The last two verses of Surah Baqarah are actually a dua, okay? So, the Prophet, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, called this surah and the next the two bright lights. He said that this surah should be recited in our homes to keep shaitan away. And this is narrated in Imam Muslim. So this surah focuses on the qualities of the believers and the disbelievers and the hypocrites. So you all know what believers and disbelievers are. Do you want to know what hypocrites are? So hypocrites are the people who act happy and all. They look happy, but from the inside they're angry and sinful. And this surah also discusses the beliefs and practices of the people of the book, the Jews and the Christians. So you know the three most popular religions are talked about in Surah Baqarah: the Jews and the Christians, and Islam also. And the Quran has been revealed by Allah as a guide to all of humanity. We know that. Those who question the Quran are challenged to produce something like it. So it means that if you question the Quran, you are challenged to produce a voice. Read it and then you'll understand it, okay? So, Allah is the master and creator, and He can easily bring everyone back to life for the day of judgment. So, it means that He can bring every single one of us back to life. Imagine we're dead, right? But then we just suddenly wake up. That's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's power. Allah has blessed us with so many things, and He deserves our worship and gratitude. And what we mean by that is Allah created the sky, air, food, water. And for example, you have a favorite food. Allah created that type of food, so He deserves our praise, our prayers and worship and gratitude. Shaitan is humanity's biggest enemy. So what it means by that is biggest enemy. So Shaitan whispers in our ear to do bad things. Now, not hey, do a sin. Not like that. Not like you hear voices. He has this type of power which reproduces that thought to go in our mind, not to be whispered. And Allah tests people with certain duties to show if they're obedient or not. For example, you're a good Muslim, right? You're a good Muslim and you have many good deeds. But in life, you suffered once. If you are a good person and always asks forgiveness for your sins, then if Allah wills, that can be a punishment, but it's most likely to be a test to see if you are obedient and faithful. So, the Prophet Ibrahim salam is mentioned as a role model because of his obedience, gratitude, and true faith in Allah. You guys remember when Prophet Ibrahim salam's father believed in a different thing, right? But with obedience and respect and gratitude, he told his father that he is going on an astray path. So let me show you. This is where he was saying this is where his father was going, right? He was going this way, right? And so that's why. This surah covers many topics, including the acts of worship, salah, hajj, fasting, and war, and peace, marriage and divorce, charity, and loans. It means that it includes the main topics in the Quran. So sincerity is very important for our actions to be accepted and fully rewarded. It talks about how sincerity is very important, like for our good deeds to be accepted and for us to be rewarded. Allah has forbidden bad things and allowed good things for a benefit. For example, Allah has forbidden alcohol, right? Well, Allah has forbidden alcohol because of a certain reason. That certain reason is it will make us sick and it'll damage the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made us. So if Allah is on our side, it does not matter who is against us. So if Allah is with us like on our side, even though you might look like and feel like you're failing, but you have to trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's plan, because Allah is the Al-Malik, the King. He will all do good for us. It is important to make dua in both good and bad times. You can make dua in good times, everybody does that, but you can make dua in good times, like for gratefulness, and in bad times Allah will help us. So that's why Allah made a blessing to accept our du'as. We should learn from others' mistakes to avoid making those mistakes ourselves. So Allah, each of us has a person, right? We are in contact with a person, and that certain person makes a mistake right in front of you. Allah is giving you a sign that you were about to make that mistake, but he made a model for you to show what would happen if you did that mistake. So Allah actually wants us to go to heaven. So Allah does not ask anyone to do anything beyond their ability. Allah did not ask us to go into into Islam. He wants us to go into Islam. It is our choice if we trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Well, I'm going to tell you a side story. This is a fictional story of a king who had 3 servants. One day he asked each of them to go to the store and fill up a cart with food. So then they went to a big shopping center and each of them took a cart and some bags. The first one filled up his cart with fruit, vegetable, bread, juice, chocolate, nuts, and water. So the second one ignored the king's order and said, I'll just buy the stuff I want. So he filled up his cart with clothes, shoes, belts, and toilet paper. The third one pretended to fill his bag with food, but he left with empty bag. Who do you think is the most sincere? I think the first one is. When they returned to the king, he ordered his guards to lock each of them away in a separate room for 2 weeks. Let them eat what they got from the store. The first one had no problem because he listened to the king. So for 2 weeks, he was relaxing on a couch, enjoying all the amazing food he brought from the store. The second one panicked when they put him in a room. He was left with nothing to eat except the new shoes and toilet paper. So he ended up dying of a few days. As for the third one, his fate wasn't much better because he had nothing in his bag. So this shows that we should listen and be kind to people, and then Allah will give us a reward. So please be tuned for part 2. Allah Hafiz.